Royal Ambassadors, Dennis and Ruth Willliams.
Sounds like square dance time. Start calling a little down here. Anyway, yeah, we're assigned to talk a little bit about vision and strategy, and how many of you have a vision for that? Yeah. How many of you that are not platinums yet are going to be platinums before the end of the year? That's most of the room. It's doable, isn't it? Well, you have a vision to get to Italy. Well, here's another vision that you need to have. Increase the size of your team. Absolutely. And Dave and Valerie have been promoting all year that, everyone bring one. We want to bring one. Just think if everybody in the whole company brought another person there. Dave's often said that. It would double the size of the company, wouldn't it? And if you did that for your group and kept doubling all the time, just think what would happen. If we're not in direct sales, we're in network marketing. And if we were in direct sales and your goal was $1 million, a year in business, you'd hire maybe 100 salespeople and each sell $10,000 worth. But if you're network marketing, you sponsor some people, we sponsor more people, you get a group of 10,000 people to do $100 a piece, you still got your $1 million. So it's a lot of people doing a little bit, and it's doable. A great example of that, a lot of people doing a little bit. I was thinking back about our first year in the business, and Dave and Valerie and Ken Hankins might remember this. We started out in December '91, sponsored in January was our first month of '92, and February we made silver. And of course, our volume that month, we had today's compensation fund would have been a platinum the second month because our volume was 35,500. And then Ruth and I had sponsored about 15 people in the first 6 weeks. And they kept duplicating. At the end of the year, we didn't have any silvers, so it was pretty hard to get one. But we had 700 people in our personal group. And our volume that year was 720,000 for our personal group volume. So, but when you got 700 people, and you got 720, that's only about a little over $1,000 a piece for the whole year for each consultant, isn't it? About $86 a month. But our personal group volume averaged $60,000 a month that year. So that I know that if you can hit, 30,000 in a month, I think it might be doable, right? So anyway, there's another little story that I made up one time. I just like, some of you have seen this before, we'll just kind of run it by you. I made up the story just to show the power of geometric progression. Let's say that you had a horse and you wanted to get a shoe called a farrier. And he said, how much do you charge? I said, I charge $5,000. He said, $5,000? I can't afford that. I'm going to get a different farrier. So you call a different farrier, and he says, well, I got a simple plan. I just charge a penny for the first nail, and I just double the price for every nail I put in. Well, that can't be much. It's only 8 nails in a shoe, and only 4 shoes on the horse. Yeah, come on over. Let's do that plan. So the guy comes over and nails in the first 4 nails, and it's, penny, 2 cents, 4 cents, 8 cents, put on the second line, and you add them all up, and the first shoe costs $2.55. Well, I'm sure glad I didn't hire that guy for $5,000. I'm a quarter of the way through. I only spent $2.55, but the next shoe, the first nail is going to be double, $1.28, doubled, isn't it? So you start doubling that one, and oh my gosh, that second shoe's going to cost you over $652. Well, that's still a long way from $5,000, isn't it? A long way from $5,000, and I'm halfway through. I think I made a good decision. But the first nail in the next shoe is going to be $327 doubled. Oh my gosh, that third shoe cost $167,000. I think I made a mistake with the $5,000 in that shoe. But I'm kind of nervous about the last shoe. Well, you should be, because the first nail is going to be, $83,000 doubled. Oh my gosh, time you get done, that doggone horse cost almost $43 million. Put shoes on. And that's kind of how our business is. But if you ever quit at shoe 1 or quit at shoe 2, you gotta stick around long enough to keep things happening to get to the 3rd and 4th one, right? So that 4th one is your platinum there. So hang in there, make it go, duplicate, get more people in your group. A lot of people doing a little bit. The wonderful products that we have. You're gonna do it. Okay? Thank you. I'll just bring Ruth up. Thank you, guys.
Okay, well, It was fun doing that with knee cannons instead of horseshoes.
Hey, Ruth, right over here. A little bit further over here. That way we can see the light on your face and we can
Oh,
get
dear.
you in the picture.
Okay. So, the first thing, my part of the program today is success strategies. And if you want to be able to make more than you paid for the horseshoes, you probably need some strategies. And one of the advantages we had is we had been in network marketing before. I guess I'm going to begin. And so we had some ideas of what to do and what not to do. And so I'm going to go really pretty fast through these slides and focus on a couple of things that I see people getting where they get stuck. Okay? So first, you have to realize the value of what you have, because that just makes you kind of glow. You realize what you've got, and you've got something really special to give to people. It really makes you want to talk to people, right? And so, but the thing I find that people have trouble with is just getting started. And so I hope I'll say something that will help you be able to help us all get started a little bit better. Well, we know we have these steps to take that will help us to be able to be successful, and they're the ones you've all heard before. Set the goals, make a plan, get to work, stick to it, and reach your goal. Yoo-hoo. And keep your mind on that, but your action, keep it moving. So, I found that there's a magic word. Dennis and I just went on a cruise, and even before I got to the cruise, when I was talking to people, I had some outside help, and so I had agreed that if I had people put in front of me, that I would talk to them because Heavenly Father had sent them to me. And so, first thing you want to do is pray for help, so that makes so much difference all through our business. We had so many miracles, and we've had even some on this trip. But the thing is, you have to use a magic word, and I think a magic word is wellness. I've been hearing people say, no, that's out of date and everything. But I think, you hear about these things that happen, and they happen a little bit more and a little bit more, and all of a sudden they come into their own. And when I had these people just kind of appear almost in front of me, and I knew that they wanted to know something that I had to tell them, I would say, visit, and then I would say, they would say, well, what do you guys do? Usually it goes, where are you from, and then what do you do there? And we'd ask them those questions, they'd ask us back. And then I would say, well, we have a wellness business. And they would just like light up. They would light up and they'd say, wellness? It was just like I had some kind of a magic word that they had just been waiting for me to tell them about. And they would even say, and a lot of the people that happened to be in front of me usually had something to do with wellness. Sometimes they were an RN, sometimes they were just looking for a way to have wellness. And I don't know where the time thing is. Oh, you have it. Okay, good. All right, so, as a time man, thank you. Then they said wellness, and a lot of them said, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I want to do something that has to do with wellness. And someone would say, that's what I want to do. Well, you just have to talk to them some more. And so, I would use that magic word, and then the next thing that is important is to get their information right. You got to send them some information. You got to contact them. And so some years ago, I knew that I wanted to get their information. I was carrying away around 3x5 cards. Sometimes they had lines on them. Sometimes they didn't. It just didn't seem very professional. So I told Dennis, I want a card like this. So he made me one. And I've been using it ever since. And people just seem to be happy to be filling it out. I usually check and be sure that I can read what they wrote. And sometimes I think, this is before I started doing the wellness thing, and just talking to them about other things, sometimes I suspected that they put a different email on there than what their email really was. But you never know because you can't get a hold of them. Okay, so this is what we put together, and that has been working out really well. And I usually would say, I'll send you some information if you fill this out. Sometimes I'd say, I'll send you a video, depending on what they were talking about. And okay, now then, the other thing, forever I've had a problem with, but I don't have this problem anymore, especially since we have text. I love text. Follow up soon, like as fast as you can. Send a personal note, not a group note. And you remember then, when you have that little card, you write on the back what they did, what they were interested in, anything that was special about them. You write that on there because in the personal note, you're going to say something about that. And that just helps them to remember that we kind of communicated and made a friend. I made a friend, and so I'm talking to them. Okay, so, and you're going to call, maybe to invite them, or if there's an event, if they're in your area. We're calling them to ask them a little bit more about what they're interested in, and that we can send them something. Depends on if they live nearby or not, right? Okay. So, and then, if you are inviting someone, and you send them a note that you're going to have an event in their area, and sometimes Dennis happens to be going somewhere where they live. It just happens that way. I'll call them up and know that I don't have an event, and I'll have him go there, so tell them that he's going there, so they will have one. Sometimes also we'll ask them to just join us in an event, of course. But we want to then, if we're inviting them, we want to send them a text, tell them about the event, send them the flyer, and then we want to, just before the event, to call them and be sure they're coming. And that seems just logical, and I know you guys are all doing that every single time, right? Okay, and we had one with Violet here. She had one. We were coming to Utah, so Carrie has her special friend Violet, who is a massage therapist, and we knew that she wanted to build a business, so I gave her a call and said, well, we're coming down. Would you like to get some people together? And she did a super job. She had like 5 or 6 ladies and 1 guy, and he wanted a business especially. And it was just turned out to be really a good meeting, didn't it, Violet? She did such a good job of getting people there. And I bet she called them more than once. So, now the other thing, how much time do I have now? 2.5 minutes to tell you how to build business. Okay, there's one thing that is most important, and that is, we learned this from our other business the hard way. When you have first levels, like Dennis said, we got 15, and I am counting up what we had in that business. Over years, we had 33 wide. And we didn't do them all at once, it was just year after year after year. And they just kept, we'd get them going, and then they just disappeared. And I did not want that to happen again. And so, the rule is that you've got to keep going down under them. You guys have heard me talk about this before, some of you. And until you find somebody that gets so excited they can't keep their mouth shut, or they recognize the business and they know what to do. And that is a diamond in the making. And so then you're going to start working with them and help them to build. And in the meantime, you go back up and talk to your upline, or their upline, and you tell them they have a diamond down there, and then they will have to get ready, get busy, or they will not be able to earn their income on them. They have to have more legs, but that's how it used to be. Now they just have to be sure they have their volume. If you go down 6 levels, since we get paid on 6 levels down, you can figure out how many people do you have with the first level, the second level, and if you add them all up, 6 levels all the way down is almost 60,000 people. So wouldn't that be fun? So another thing you can do right at the beginning is draw out a chart like this, and then you have to fill it up. And I don't draw all of them. I just draw a few and then fill them up. And I've done that over the years now. And so certainly encourage you to make one yourself, and then you can be a royal diamond. So go out there, and I hope these strategies will help you to be more successful.
It doesn't sound like Brody, but